Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome back to Choices Life Coaching. And I guess today, our next topic of discussion will be reframing perspective change and reflection. Okay, so let's see where to begin. Uh, Reframing and perspective change is, let's see, uh, I'll get this right at some point. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you so much for returning. And I might as well just like, okay. Reframing perspective and change, a variety of avenues for helping people see things from a different viewpoint or to get in touch with a blind spot. Now, it's not easy to leave your own viewpoint and take on another person's viewpoint. So, creating a scenario or a vision picture of what things look like from another point of view, or from someone else's perspective or Jennifer's perspective. I know. Salam alaikum, my brother. Okay. For instance, create a future perspective like we're going to start envisioning and drawing a picture of of a victorious like celebration or a victory celebration. Okay, and we're going to do that within your own family. So we're going to use the kids and your grandkids and stuff like that. And we are going to create a victory celebration by experiencing the joy and accomplishment of when the project is completed. Now, I've been looking at Facebook, and a lot of people, their kids are graduating from school, and okay, they didn't actually physically get to do the graduation ceremony, but they're holding up their diplomas, and there's a lot of graduation ceremonies that is online. Okay, so let's take a walk into or let's walk a mile in your boss's shoes, your spouse's shoes, your co-worker's shoes, or and we are going to sketch out the initial details. Often the person will be able to enter in, complete the picture, and gain a new perspective. Now, when we are reframing, say this beautiful painting behind me that I would like to reframe it. Basically, they have to take it down off the wall. Then they're going to have to take it off of the current frame that is in, and then they're going to have to put a new frame around it. Okay, so we're just reframing a perspective. Okay, and a key reason that people seek to work with me as a coach is to get a perspective on their lives, so that when we ask for a perspective, we've most people have either lost their perspective, or they be like, well, what do you mean by that? Here are four types of perspectives that we can look for. One is proportion. Proportion, and that is the big picture. Okay, we're looking at the big picture, seeing the real importance of true relationship of things. And that is some things that people do not like. Proportion. Okay, you have to look at the true interrelationship of things, and then you have to look at objectivity. Rational thinking, detaching yourself emotionally, to see things as they really are. Hi, Taylor. And viewpoint. Viewpoint is a comprehensive thinking, looking at the situation from a variety of different angles. Okay, have you seen this new 3D technology that they have come up with where you can put on like the 3D glasses when you sit into a movie theater? Now they have the 3D DVD, 3D DVD glasses. And then you're looking at the picture. It is like a flat screen. But when you put on the 3D glasses, things become the three-dimensional. So you look, I know they even have it at my dentist's office. When I went into the dentist's office, they did a 3D dimension of my jawbone because I needed a root canal and I had chipped a tooth. And basically, they did a 3D dimensional photo of my entire face so that I can see my chin, my jawbone, my cheekbone. Then you can see the actual teeth up into the roots of the gum. This is not just an x-ray. An x-ray is just one dimensional. But when they do a three-dimensional photo, we are looking at a viewpoint with comprehensive thinking, critical thinking, looking at a situation from a variety of different angles, and clarity. Clarity is knowing that you know and knowing what you know and having the assurance to act confidently. And this is where you guys come sit and talk with me. Okay? There are many ways that we can reframe the conversation to change the perspective. And I'm going to give you a few examples and some sample questions that will increase your objectivity and the proportion or alter proportion. Why can't I say that? And or alter the viewpoint. Now, with the viewpoint, the perspective of balance, okay? What's going on in other areas of your life, of my life, that is putting pressure on a particular area or making it more difficult for you to reach your set goals and complete the vision and dreams that you may have for yourself? Think about the importance of this relative or your relationship with your family, your spiritual life, your health, your financial life, your social life, okay? How important is this in the grand scheme of things? Hi, Thaddeus. How you doing, my brother? Now, nice to see you. Are you enjoying your weekend? Are you guys having a good weekend? I didn't even ask you that. Are you having a good weekend, Thaddeus and Taylor? And how do you pronounce your name? My friend, that your name is written in Arabic, and you always say the nicest things and give me the nicest compliments, but how do you say your name in English? I hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to hydrate, okay? Now, what's going on in other areas of your life that is putting pressure on a particular area or making it more difficult for you to reach a particular goal, complete a vision, or a dream? Think about the importance of this relative or a relationship, family, spiritual, health life, financial life, and how important is this in the grand scheme of things, okay? The big picture. What do you have to be thankful for in your life right now at this particular moment? Just type it into the comment section. Okay, we're being a little interactive. Okay, my friends? Be a little interactive. Type in your comments. Taylor, what do you have to be thankful for today? Thaddeus, what do you have to be thankful for today? Just type it in the comment section. Okay. And what is going well in your life? Tell me what's like really, really going really, really well. You know, hello? Hello? Okay, and all I can say is salam alaikum and amdullah. Hamdulillah, hamdulillah, and salam alaikum and walaikum assalam. That's all my Hebrew for today. Okay, now then we have to deal with the perspective of time. Okay, time is something that we can't get back once we lose time, and that is very, very important to all of us. I wish I could buy back some of those years and buy back some of those wasted years and wasted time. But thank God that Jesus is the redeemer of time. So thank you, Father. Now, what will this decision look like in 10 years? So, if you're making a decision that you will decide to do something today, I noticed, Thaddeus, that since your injury, I am so proud of you. Oh my God, since you had posted that photo when you were in the hospital, and now look at you, I see you running and jogging, and you are doing so fantastic. So big ups, my brother. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's take a look at in 10 years as you continue to take better care of yourself and get on to be more proactive in your own health and well-being. Where do you see yourself in 10 years if you continue doing the exercises, eating healthy? What do you envision your body type to look like? Because we can reverse the damage to our cells that we make from either too much sugar, too much salt, not enough exercise, not enough liquids and stuff like that. Taylor, I've noticed that you've been posting and you've been making some amazing changes and some awesome strides. Where do you see yourself in 10 years in a perspective of time when it comes to your health, to your relationship? And imagine that, say, will it be a crucial decision if you continue being proactive with your personal growth, your self growth, taking better care of yourself? Okay, now imagine that you're 75 years old. Okay, my mom looks amazing for 73. And I can honestly say that because she looks really, really good. And looking back over my life, and gonna use me as an example. I am still in quarantine mode, but all things aside, I really can't complain at all. Like really and truthfully. So what would my life look like at the age of 75? Where would I like to be 10 years from now within my coaching practice? Who would I like my clients to be? And I expect to have some VIP clients, and I expect to also I have two locations. One is here in Hackensack and one is in Atlanta. Do I plan on opening up another location? When am I planning on actually physically relocating from here to Atlanta? So, do you have to think of a 10-year plan, a 5-year plan? Now, What would you be most proud of outside of your children? You know, because we're all parents and everybody's proud of their kids, but outside of your children, what would you be the most proud of as one of your accomplishments, Taylor? What would you be most proud of one of your accomplishments, Thaddeus? Okay, if you were still doing this in 5 years, and how would it affect you, your family, and your destiny? Now, the perspective and passion purpose is, let's say the situation is custom designed to prepare you for what? Prepare you for what you're being born to do. How would that change your perspective on your current circumstances? Now, your current circumstances, how would you like them to be financially? How would you like to be spiritually? Where would you like to be on your own spiritual growth? In financially, in your finances, where do you see yourself financially? In your relationships, Taylor, do you see yourself remarrying or marrying? Thaddeus, you know, these are questions that we can ask ourselves. And if you're in a relationship, what type of relationship? You understand? We have to ask ourselves all these kind of questions on perspective, passion, and purpose. Let's say we're going to jump to now we are employed. We're all employed and we're doing things now not from an employee standpoint, but we're going to be looking from a boss's standpoint. Okay, let's say you are the boss and your team came to you and said, we want to pursue that thing that most makes my heart leap. Okay, you're the boss and you own a company, you have several employees, and I come to you as an employee, or you come to me as my employee and say to me, I would like to pursue that area of my life that gives me the most passion and purpose. What is the compelling reason to make that decision, to ask that question, and why must this be done? Okay, what is the opportunity here by making such a choice, and how can this move you towards your own destiny? Okay, now when we take other people's viewpoint into perspective, how is this decision that you're making, is it going to affect your family? How is it going to affect the relationships? How is it going to affect your friends, your circle of friends? Okay, and how is it going to affect those that are around you? Now, just as an exercise, let's try on the perspective of the other person or the other players that are a part of this. How would this look through your boss's eyes? How would it look through the eyes of your team? How would it look through the eyes of your customers and your clients? How would it how would it look through the eyes of the media? Okay, I've heard that you've made an argument for a particular change. What is that change? Let me hear you make a case against it and or a case for it. Now, if you were going to convince me that we shouldn't do this particular thing or that particular thing, what would you say or what would it be? Okay, right now we're going to use the Donald. Why am I picking on this man? Anyway, he is sitting there in the White House and he has to make some serious decisions regarding this country and regarding the perspective of the nation. Okay, Now, we can look at it from his viewpoint, from our viewpoint, from the viewpoint of the media that is playing this out every day. And we can also look at it from the world's perspective, the big picture, that the nations around the world, all eyes is on America at this particular moment with the COVID-19. So we can look at it from a media angle, we can look at it from our customers and clients angle, we can look at it from the team angle, whomever your team is, and we can also look at it from, if I own my own company, I have to look at it from my perspective as the boss, okay? So just put yourself in there, and you can be any particular character that you would like to be. And then you have to, when it comes to the perspective of freedom, for the sake of argument's sake, let's assume that you have the power to change any situation right now, right here and right now, and that you can take action and make a difference. What would your action be in that decision making process for the company, for your family, for your relationships, for your clients, for the company, for the country, okay, regarding your health, your social circle, that you can take action and make a difference. And people today have risen up and they're let their voices heard by how? By taking action. And they started protesting. And that Mr. Young Luke Skywalker, what's his name? I think he just set it off over there in England. And let me tell you, I got to thank the entertainment community, because he said what he was speaking of what he was feeling. And then he didn't think regarding, okay, will he ever get a chance to work in Hollywood again? No. You know what ended up happening? Because he was so bold, and you can feel everything that he was feeling, that several directors have reached out to him and has offered him jobs and movie roles and positions. So when we are speaking of a perspective of change, okay, we cannot be afraid to make a decision. We cannot, because this is where, on my last subject, before we took the break, that sometimes you have to challenge, and sometimes it is not necessarily what you say, but how you do it. And we have to be tactful. We have to take a chance. We have to make a decision, and we have to do it from a perspective of freedom. When you take that into consideration regarding the viewpoints of others, the passions and purpose and time and balance, you have to take everything into the big picture. Okay, so for sake of argument, let's say that you have the power to change any situation, that you can take action and make a difference. What would you do if you saw yourself as being in control? In control. You are the boss, Taylor. You the boss, Thaddeus. You the boss, Jennifer. Whomever. Say that you had the power to make a change and to make a decision. What part can you play? What part would you play? Okay? If I see you as a person of great intuitive and ability, what if you saw yourself that way? What if I see you the way that God sees you, as a person of great initiative and ability? How would you start to view yourself in the area of freedom and building your self-confidence? Okay, now the new perspective of motives, okay, big, like what is motivating you to make a decision in the choice of the which way the which way we're going to use Donald again, which way in which direction the company or the country is moving in, like which way the country is moving. Then when you look as you're the boss of your own company and corporation, what is motivating you to move the company into this direction? Now, if you wanted to put it as far as your team or a family, your relationships, your friends, or the people around you, what is your motive? What is it that motivates you to step forward in a particular direction? What are you proactively reaching towards, and what are you trying to get away from? Okay, ta ta ta, that is a question. When you're moving forward, what are you trying to move forward to, and what are you trying to get away from? When I made that decision 16 years ago to leave New York, I was moving towards life. Life, and life more abundantly. Why? Because I was running away from my own death. And I saw myself dying. I saw myself literally either overdosing. I saw myself literally either being beat up to death in the hospital or something, because or in jail, or I didn't see myself free. So when you are moving forward, what is your motive to move forward in life with your own personal growth? Okay. Are you are you clear? Because once you make a decision, the wheels are set in motion. So now that you are clear in the direction that you're moving towards, you know what your motive is. Now, here's the other thing. Let's take a hypothetical look at some different possibilities that motivations gives us, okay? If you are going to act solely to make a life for yourself to become better now at this point in time, what would that look like? You have to make choices. We make choices every single day. And I say every single day because within a 24-hour period, do you know how many choices you have made? You've made a choice to wake up. Your natural alarm clock wakes you up. You make a choice to get into the shower. You make a choice to brush your teeth. You make a choice on what clothes to wear. You make a choice on how you're going to do your hair. You make a choice on what you're going to eat for dinner and what you're going to have for dinner. You make a choice on, oh my God, to watch TV, to not watch TV. You make choices all day long within a 24-hour period. You make a choice to be positive. You make a choice to be negative. We are constantly making choices all day long. Now, what would you like your life to look like? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Good morning, Calvin. Where do you see yourself, or good afternoon, where do you see yourself in the decisions that you make on a daily basis? Okay. How about if your overwhelming concern was for the future? Because at one point I was really afraid of the unknown because I didn't know what the future held. I didn't know what the future was like, and I had to make choices. But I was more afraid of what I was running from than what I was running to. Do that make sense? Because I knew that what I was running from was killing me. And what I'm running to can only save my life or make it become better. How can I become better at being me? Okay, so you have to take into consideration what is the motive, what it is. Then you have to take into consider the relationship with the overwhelming concern of the future of the organization, okay, the future of the company, the future of your family, the future of your health, the future of your the future of the nation, the future of the corporation, the country, the city, the town, the family, the kids. You understand? What is our motivation? What is it that motivates us? And what do you want to admit to yourself about you? Why you are making these choices, okay? And I had to admit so many things to myself about me regarding the choices that I was making to move forward, to be a better person, but to be the best version of myself. And I had to make a choice. I'm going to open my own company. I'm going to write my book. I'm going to speak to the people. I was so afraid of that because everybody was so media happy and selfie and chit, 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 chit. And that wasn't me. I was like, I'm saying to myself, like, oh my God, I had to get used to all of this stuff. The millennial generation, they had that down like, hey, take a picture, take a photo. And being that I wasn't in the entertainment industry, and I wasn't in the music industry, and I wasn't a TV personality, I had to get used to sitting down and teaching via social media. That was a decision. So, what are the choices that you are making on a day-to-day basis for the betterment of you, yourself, your family, your relationship, your business, your company, and for the people that are around you and will be affected by these changes and choices and decisions that we make on a daily basis? And what is the motivation? Then we have to look at it from a perspective of confidence, okay? Which alternative provides a healthy amount of stretching? Because when you decide to change and you decide to grow emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, okay, you are digging deep within yourself and you are going to stretch. Okay, and in this process, it's like a toddler when children first start walking. When they first start, when you are on your own personal growth and development, it is going to feel like at first you just sit there and take it in and you become breastfed. Okay, then you go to the bottle, and then from the bottle, then the sippy cup, and then from the sippy cup, then you start with solids, and then from solids, then you become a toddler. Okay, you ever seen babies and infants trying to walk? Like first when they start crawling, it's awkward. They start with their head first. sorry, my babies. I love these babies, but you understand, they start like creeping with their head first and their tush up in the air, and they got one arm this way and one leg this way until they become a little bit comfortable, I guess, with the thought of motion. Refocus, camera, refocus, refocus. Sorry. Okay, and then you have to take a look at what is the next thing. How am I going to do the next thing that I'm supposed to be doing? Okay, now it feels a little funny and it gets a little uncomfortable because you're learning something, and life is like that. And then what else do once you ever seen a kid when they start, toddlers, especially toddlers, oh my God, you gotta have like 8 arms just to keep up with them, and they're touching everything and they opening everything. That's basically what it is. You're trying new things, and that is how we learn, by curiosity. You understand? Don't stop young children by learning. Don't deny them. Just like, give them some boundaries and stuff like that. But in people, with life in general, it's like that with you when you're growing a company, when you're growing personally, emotionally, mentally, physically, even financially. Toot, 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 toot. So, and at some point, you will gain confidence, okay? That will lead to what alternative provides a healthy amount of stretching, not overwhelming, not boring, boring, but challenging you to step up and to step out in faith and use your full capabilities, okay? Use every ounce of every gift and talent and capabilities that God has given you and has put inside of each and every single person. Okay? Now, if you had unlimited resources and you couldn't fail, how would it change your perspective? How would it change the way that you see yourself, the way that you see people, the way that you even act and talk? Would you be positive, or would you end up like those people? The way that we act, we talk, we socialize. You understand, Bill? Would you be responsible if you was to be blessed with finances? You ever hear those people that won the lottery and went broke like a couple of years later? And I'm saying to myself, why didn't they give me that money? I'm just being honest, because give it to me. I know what the heck to do with it. Like, I have plans and dreams and visions and a layout and stuff like that. And then you have some people, they have people who imagine yourself with total confidence. I mean, have enough confidence. Have the confidence of God, okay? God. God said, let there be light, and there was light, right? Let there be stars in the heaven, and there were stars in the heaven. Imagine if you could have that much confidence that you can just be and do and just be anything that you wanted to be and do anything that you wanted to be. Imagine if you had that much confidence. Sometimes it's good to dream. I was sitting down, and you know what I watched yesterday that I hadn't seen in years? Do you remember that movie by Steven Spielberg, The Close Encounter of the Third Kind? Do, 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 do. And that was I hadn't seen that movie in like 10 years or something like that. But then as I was watching the movie, and then everybody had like they was seeing the same thing, and they was making potato like mountains with their potato salad, and then the kids was drawing things, and the lady was doing a her artwork, and it's like their subconscious was awakening all at the same time, the regular normal people on the planet. And then you had, I guess you can, okay, the government people, they was part of the movie too, and they had like the best interpreters and sign language people and sound people. Okay, and what does the flashing light mean? Red light, 1, 2, 3, and then they had like blue light, green light, 3 blinking, and you know, imagine if you just had the confidence to. I spoke to a nice young lady, grew up in East Orange, from where I'm from, and now she lived in Pennsylvania, and her artwork. Oh my God. I was looking at some of her artwork, tapped into her on Twitter, and I gotta give Samantha Lee a really big shout out, because now she wants to become an art therapist, okay? And as becoming a art therapist, she will be able to work with children and young people who can't express what it is that they are feeling, like, you know, that they can't use with their words. She's a great artist, like really. She's from Jamaica. Her mom's proud of her. Beautiful self-portrait, beautiful, beautiful, talented. And she's not even 22, and she's in her second year of college, and she wants to become a art therapist to help people do what? Especially young people who can't verbally express how they're feeling, but they can do it through their art. And that art has certain colors and stuff like that. So if you had enough self-confidence to do what? To be what would you choose to do to be? How would it change your relationships with your families, relationship with your friends, relationship with the people around you? How would it change your relationship with your co-workers, your employees? Okay. Now, how will you know that you know? That is the question. How will you know that you know to make this decision? This is where the clarity comes in. Like the lens on this camera was a little bit fuzzy, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm saying, okay, but I can see a lot clearer now. Why? Because I cleaned it and it's no longer foggy. You understand? I have clarity. You understand? Sometimes when we are making decisions and choices, first we have to find the different perspective. We're reframing our photo, the picture. Then we have proportion, objectivity, viewpoint, and clarity, perspective of balance, perspective of time. Are you willing to invest the amount of time to do that? So we're being realistic now. Perspective of your passion and purpose. What is your purpose or your passion that is driving you to do what it is that you want to do, or dream, or take a chance? And then we have to take into other people's viewpoint. Okay, then we have to have the perspective of freedom. What would it feel like to be free to do what it is that you want to do, to be how you want to be, to say what it is you want to say, to do what it is you want to do? Then the perspective, what driving force that is within you. Then we're building self-confidence along the way, okay? We're building self-confidence along the way, I guess, with everything in life. Then we have to get clear. Get clear on what? What do you still need to feel confident about? In this course of action, what do you need to feel confident about right now? Okay, because I did one recording, and oh, Miriam, thank you so much. You were really interactive. You had a little comment. You remind me of a black person in a movie theater. You know, when you go to the movies and you talking to the TV screen and you're like, get out of the way, run, move, and they tell you, shh, no talking during the movie. But I really appreciate that everyone's listening and that you're tuning in. But you also have to remember that it's okay to run with an idea. If you have an idea that God has put into your heart and into your spirit, don't be afraid. Like, take a chance on yourself. Take a chance on your dream. Take a chance on a better relationship. Take a chance on building, making your family unit stronger. You understand? Take a chance on solidifying those relationships, okay? If God has given you an idea, or a DESIRER, a desire, take a chance on that, okay? And can you live with the outcome? Can you live with the decisions that you make without feeling regret or guilt or shame, okay? If you try and don't succeed, how are you going to feel about it? Are you going to stop dreaming? What are you going to do? You understand? When I come to you, I want to see lasting change, okay? Lasting change that will carry you through life. Do that make sense? Okay. Now, resist the underlining rational, like, what's the compelling reason for doing this? And then reflection. You understand? As a leader, and I'm speaking to leaders that will be leading with me in life, but I look at you as leaders in your home, leaders in your business, leaders in your families, leaders within your community. So we're leading together, and as leaders, we are often working with people who are very accomplished doers, but less adept at being and reflecting. Now, as your coach, I'm helping you to develop your leadership skills and helping you with discipline of reflection to help you maximize your learning capability from what it is that you would like to do to what it is that you are actually doing. So, what is it can you do? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you will do? Okay, reflective styles. One area that often needs addressing is identifying a reflective style that works for you. Okay, we all have our own different style and flavor and way of doing things and being and stuff like that. What kind of time and place are most conducive for you to sit down and just reflect and contemplate in? Okay, sometimes I can function in a disruptive, loud environment, but when you want to sit down and reflect, that means get your little notebook, and then we get our little pen, and we're just going to be reflective, and we're just going to take our time and sit down and just get quiet. You understand? This is you being real with you. Only you know what your life is, you know what your life has been, you know what your life wants to be. Okay? Now, sometimes it's just good to sit down in a nice, quiet environment and just reflect. What kind of time and place? First, you're going to find that time and place that is conducive for you to reflect. And do you reflect best by talking things through or talking things out loud to yourself? I talk to myself all day long. People be like, really? Yeah. I talk to myself because me and God, I'm like, okay, God, you're my partner in this thing. And we be having a conversation. So, do you talk things out loud in an extrovert style or by pondering or writing by yourself in an introvert style? Okay? Because I am an introvert with an extra doing extrovert things, and I can sit down and I can be quiet and I will just think things. And but I notice that sometimes when I get a thought, so that I won't lose track of the thought, I'll write it down and I'll write it down, and I call it a brain dump because I'm taking my thoughts from out of my head and I'm putting them onto the paper where I can actually physically take a look at what it is that I'm thinking. Then I have to sit down and say, how am this is me being reflective. So, share one of your best experiences with reflective. What kind of setting were you in when you're reflecting? And let's see, what did you learn at that point in time and at that moment in time? Take a look at wherever you were doing whatever it was that you were doing. What did you learn at that moment? Write it down, okay? This is really cathartic, and it's also very, very, very freeing, okay? Now, how have you intentionally built a reflection on your thought time into your life? Journaling. Hi, Maureen. Thanks for joining. Hi, Clarence. Thanks for joining. Uh, when you sit down and you are reflecting, people journal. Like, you ever hear them? Like, women are big on journaling, but I think it's something that you brothers can start doing too, that the men can start doing too. Okay. Sit down and start. Hi, Gail. Thanks for joining. When you sit down, take your reflective pen and paper. You have people who are good at writing poetry. What do you think those rappers do and songwriters and all that other kind of stuff? Stuff pop into their brain. They smart enough to put it on pen. And then you have people that are freestylers that just, free flowing in their rapping, and then somebody hears them. They didn't put it down on paper, they didn't copyright it, then somebody hear them spitting their lines and their rhymes and stuff like that, or singing a song to a certain lyric. And you understand, it's good to sit down and just get quiet sometimes. Take the thought that you are thinking at the moment and put it on pen and paper, do a brain dump. You will find it's so cathartic that you will start to see yourself differently, because now it is no longer in the brain, it is visually on paper where you can see it. Then with you journaling is very liberating because you don't have to speak to some people all the time. You can just sit down quietly, take 15 minutes or before you go to bed or when you wake up, and just write what you're thinking, what you're feeling. And you're also doing an emotional cleanse at the same time. And then you can like journal regarding like your past if you're angry at a moment, or if you're angry at a person, or you're upset at somebody, or you don't know how to express what it is that you're thinking or feeling at the moment. You can just sit down and put it on paper and write it. Okay, this way you are doing an emotional cleanse, a toxic cleanse, a brain dump. You're putting your thoughts, even if you're dreaming. Okay, if you have a vision, a dream, a goal, an aspiration, you want to you want to live a certain way or live a certain lifestyle, you want to be emotionally okay and balance and have harmony within your emotions, just sit down and journal and just put it down on paper. Okay, now reflection questions that I would like for you to ask yourself is this. Now, when you're asking yourself, when you're being reflective, okay, reflective of your life and reflective of yourself, what is happening is you are digging in and you're going deep. You understand? You are digging deep within your own emotions and self, spirit, and soul. Okay? What is behind that? What is it? What is it? What is behind the way that I'm feeling, the way that I'm thinking, the way that I am responding? Okay, what is behind the way that I'm dreaming? What is my motive? What would it take for you to get to the bottom of a situation? Okay, say you have something that's been gnawing at you and gnawing at you and gnawing at you and gnawing, and you get to yourself and you be like, oh my God, this thing has really been on my mind for a while. When you start reflecting and start journaling, you're going to deal with one, ask yourself what is behind that. Two, what would it take for me to get to the bottom of that? Three, if you can get the answer to the one question, what would that question be? Okay, what is your driving responses? What internal pressures are you responding to? Okay, what are the internal pressures that you're responding to? Okay, and then you have to do what is the right thing to do. You always got to ask yourself that. Always ask yourself, what is the right thing to do? What is the right thing to do? In any situation, ask yourself, what is the right thing to do? Okay, what factors of influencing my current decision and what it is that I'm currently doing in any decision that you make? What factors influences this decision? Where are you going? You understand? Where will this lead me? Once I make this decision, where do you see yourself? On what path? On what journey? It's like the GPS. When you have like a GPS system and you put in the GPS, you put in your destination, okay? And you're starting from point A to point B, okay? And then you put in the destination. Now, where are you going? Where will it lead you? What you mentioned is that this first started bugging me when last year. When I first decided this online streaming teaching classes and stuff like this, when God dropped this into my spirit, it was like 2 years ago, two and a half years ago, before the pandemic, before I mean, literally, I was sitting, where was I sitting at? I was sitting in church, and they were having a prayer meeting, and we were praying for the community, and praying for the church, and praying for the children ministry, and praying for this. And by the time we then sat and prayed for like an hour, and they was like, well, did you get any new ideas? What did God say to you? And I say what God says to me, and I mentioned this, and they looked at me like, no, nope, nope, nope. And I just like, and I'm saying to myself, oh my God, like, okay, but you did ask. So anyway, so now I thought I had gotten over it, and I started the coaching. I started the online classes, and I started taking doing everything that I was supposed to do to get my coaching certification. And I thought I was gonna have like a little coaching, a little office where I can coach, and my clients would come in, and I would do like one-to-one coaching. Hadn't been to an office nowhere. Everything I started when I first had my first two, I had physical, two physical. Beth Bubar, love you, Beth. Okay, I had my pro bono clients, and that was over the phone. I did my pro bono coaching sessions vis-a-vis video. Then I had several coaching clients that I literally had like here in my slash living room slash office space. And then I started to look for like an office space in downtown Hackensack where I live now. And all of a sudden, I'm speaking to the realtor, and I'm walking around downtown looking for places to rent an office space and everything. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, pandemic. So then I'm like, what? So in the beginning of the pandemic, I was still working, and I started to deal with my coaching clients via Zoom and free conference call. And I had to sit down, but when I got this thing that why is this bugging me is that what do you need to tune into? Are you really listening to yourself? Are you listening to that inner voice that is within you? Like, from a faith perspective, what do you see yourself doing? Like, where do you see yourself doing, being, going, wanting to do? You understand? You have to get a decision that when you look from your emotions, okay, and this is an area that I think God has given us our emotions for a reason, and He's given us feelings, and God just doesn't give us something for nothing. He gives you feelings. So when it comes to your emotions now, what are you experiencing in a particular situation? And a lot of things that gets us off track sometimes is that when our emotions get bottled up and stifled, and we have to find an outlet. We have to process what it is that we are feeling, and we have to learn how to do it in a particular way. Now, I'm using America. Love you, America. Love this country. But you guys are like the biggest classroom for me right now, because you can look at the way that the country is feeling, and that every human being is feeling something based on what happened to George Floyd, Breonna, and now this Rayshawn gentleman that like in Atlanta. How do we process what it is that we're feeling to get our point across? You can use that in any situation. You can journal, You can do that with your family. You can do that with your relationships. You can do that with your businesses. With your boss. Say you're having like a tough time at work and you don't know how to deal with a particular situation. These are questions that we have to ask ourselves. What emotions are you experiencing in a particular situation? So, if we deal with the racism and the pandemic, and then you can make it a little bit personal. Are you within your relationships? Say you have an issue with an in-law or a sibling or a spouse. Start by writing how you feel, because when you do that, it gives you a little clearer clarity, so that when you go to address an issue or to speak on an issue, you understand what do you expect from. That's another question. What do you expect from here? How are unspoken expectations influencing decisions that you are making? Okay. And solidify the learning. Now, anytime that you make a major breakthrough, you can get like extra mileage out of an event by reflecting on about what happened, important insights regarding change and how to succeed in other areas of life can come to you by turning into what makes change work in a particular area. Now, a second important reflection task is that to make the change or insight stick, helping you to reflect on how to make the change permanent can make a big difference in your overall coaching effectiveness or relationship effectiveness. And I can say this, and you can apply it to any area: personal growth, spiritual growth, emotional growth, your business relationships, if you own a company, if you don't own a company. Okay, how did this change happen, and what events and circumstances led to the breakthrough? Okay, for me, what led through my first breakthrough was when my sister called me and says, Jennifer, I'm having an operation, and I need you to help me to take care of me and to take care of the kids. So while I was taking care of my sister after she had the operation, and she had two young children, believe it or not, I had my breakthrough at that moment. That was when I got clear on I got clear on what it is I wanted, how I saw myself, who I was, where I wanted to go, what it is I wanted to do, how I wanted to be. And I sat down, and it is good to reflect, because in those silent moments, I got a chance to just calm my spirit, calm my soul, calm my emotions. I started writing, praying in the spirit. And that was when I had my clarity and my breakthrough moment. And since then, I have been having breakthroughs on top of breakthroughs, on top of breakthrough, on top of breakthrough. The next thing is, what can you learn from this experience making successful changes elsewhere in your life? That means in your finances, in your relationships, in your health, in your family situation, in your business, in your company. What universal principles of growth can change Or what universal principles of growth or change can you distill from this experience that can be passed on to others? Okay, so basically, what is it that you're experiencing in any given point in time within your moment of reflection, and what have you learned from it, from that advice? And I tell you all the time that every person has, life is worth something, and your journey is worth something, and your story is important, because what have you learned from any situation that you can pass on good and vital information to other people? Now, how can you make the change stick or permanent, and so that you can never have to relearn this situation again? Or what structures could you build into your life to help you endure that this change can be permanent? Okay, so these are questions to ask yourself. And then following the emotions is, all emotions contain information. Everything that we feel, from anger to sadness to joy, happiness, shame, guilt, bliss, peace, these are all emotions. And each and every single emotion that we may feel, or that you may feel, Gail, Maureen, Clarence, Calvin, Thaddeus, Taylor, everything that we feel, believe it or not, our emotions are saying something. Anger is a response to perceived loss or injustice, and what's behind that feeling of anger. Okay? Now, the next thing is, what is your body saying to you? Do we listen to our bodies? Do we listen to our bodies when our bodies is speaking to us? And take a few minutes and just really pay attention, and just follow me, everybody. We're going to just breathe in. Ready? Take a deep breath in. And just close your eyes. EYES. Put your hands together like this. Okay? And we're just going to send out just good vibrations of gratitude, and just find reasons to be thankful and grateful in this point in time, in this present moment, right now. And just pay attention to what it is that your body is saying to you. Okay? The next thing is, what sensations do you have? What sensations are you feeling? And what do they mean to you? Okay? Now, the next thing is, sometimes we get frustration. Frustration is a feeling. So, what is frustrating you? What beliefs or expectations feed into the sense of frustration? Now, the next thing is, you seem really cheerful and energized and bubbly. Okay? Cheerfulness is a feeling. And being energetic when we wake up is a wonderful thing, because I feel like that. Like, and well, I have my moods. What's going on there? Here's another way that we can get in touch with how well our ROLE fits, how well this role fits you, whatever it is that you are in, wherever you are at in life, we are all playing a particular role. How well does this role fit you? Okay, and close your eyes and visualize yourself at work, at your desk, going through your daily tasks. Okay, and what feelings or sensations do you have as you visualize yourself there? Okay, I'm hearing some like think, visualize, feel, and unpack your emotions by doing what? Journaling. Write it down and write down what happened. Describe the main events, okay? And this will actually help you for those of you who would like to start writing or become an author. This is a great way to start. Great way to start, okay? We are start with what? There's a WHAT, okay? What happened? Describe the main events that made up this experience. Then you're going to do when, WHEN. When did you first become aware that something significant was going on? And where were there clues that something important was happening that you missed? Okay. Now, what would help you become aware earlier or in the process next time? HOW. How did your actions influence the outcome of this? And what actions do you want to celebrate? Okay, and what would you like to change the next time around? And these are things that you have to really ask yourself. And then here's another question. WHY. Why did this touch you so deeply? What changes in attitudes or beliefs does this experience push you to consider? Okay, so when you are journaling, there's so many things, or when you're reflecting, there's so many things to ask yourself. What is behind that? What could it take for you to get to the bottom of that? If you could get the answer to one question, what would that question be? The driving your responses. What internal pressures are you responding to? What do you want? What do you want? Ask yourself that. Then the next thing is, what is the right thing to do? In any situation, what is the right thing to do? What factors influence this decision? Where are you going? Where will this lead you? You mentioned that this first started bugging you when? When did you notice this gnawing? This, what changed? What do you need to tune into? What is going on under the surface? The stuff that's super under the surface. There is some deep stuff going on inside there. And what does your heart say? What does your heart say to you? And I ask you that all the time. What does your heart say to you when you start making decisions? And the next thing is, when you look at it from a faith perspective, what do you see? What emotions are you experiencing in this situation? What do you expect here? Now, how are unspoken expectations influencing a particular situation? And what can you learn from this experience by making successful changes elsewhere within your life circle and cycle? And what universal principles of growth or change can you distill from this experience that can be passed on to others. So, what have you learned within your life cycle that you can share with other people? And how can we make this change stick so that you can never have to relearn a situation again? And that is important because sometimes we want to, you know, until you learn how to spell your name, you know, that's important too. When you're teaching people or young children how to write their name, you teach them how to spell their name, and as they learn to spell their name, then you send them off to school. They learn to write and how to write their spell their name. Then the teachers start, okay, we're going to make letters now, and then they don't teach script anymore, but you learn it to start to spell words, and big words and little words. And then if you're a really good speller, you end up in a spelling bee contest. But I'm just being like a little, but you understand, how can you make this change, whatever that change is that you would like to see, and stick to it so that you never have to relearn a certain situation again? And what structures could you build or put into place for your life to help ensure that this change is permanent? Okay? Now that is really, really important. And then we ask those big, big questions. What are your emotions saying? Anger is a response to a perceived loss or injustice. What's behind that feeling of anger? What is your body saying to you? Are we listening to our bodies when our bodies are speaking to us? Close your eyes for a few moments and really pay attention to that. What sensations do you have, and what do they mean? Now, the next thing is, if you're frustrated, why are you feeling that way? The next thing is your visualization technique. Visualize yourself at work or doing what it is that you feel that you're called to do, and close your eyes, and you're sitting at your desk going through the daily task. Now, what are you feeling? What are the sensations that you have as you visualize yourself there? You understand? The next question is we want to do the what, when, how, why. What, when, how, why. What happened? Okay, describe the main event and that made up whatever the experience is. And when did you first become aware of that something significant was going on? What were those clues, and how did your actions influence the outcome? And what actions do you want to celebrate? Because you have to learn to celebrate yourself. Whoop, whoop. Be happy. You have to learn to celebrate yourself. And what events in life that has taken place that you didn't get a chance to celebrate, but you would like to celebrate? It's still not too late. You can celebrate. And what would you like to change the next time around? Okay. Now, why did this touch you deeply? Whatever it was, whatever you were feeling, whatever sensations that you may have, and what changes in attitudes or beliefs does this experience push you to consider? Okay, and I think that would be it for today. Okay, I think I did really good. I feel like I'm doing an all-day workshop for some reason, but I might as well. Yeah, this is good. Okay, take a drink, take a smoke, grab something to eat, get a bite to eat, or take a sip of something, and I'll be back with the next portion or the next half of the feedback and evaluations. Okay, and this is something that people need to take, like learn to get to when you be critiqued or an evaluation, learn to receive it in a way that is, be open. Can I say that? Can I say that? Mm-hmm. Be open. Be open to feedback and like an evaluation, and I'll just ask certain questions, and um, then I do, let's see. And I think that should be it. And then I just want to touch a little bit on relationship, okay, and a little bit just a little relationship coaching advice. We can, okay, so give me like 10 minutes and see you in 10 minutes, okay? You can tinkle, go to the bathroom, get something to drink, get something to eat, and I'll be back in 10 minutes, okay?